Tacoma today with Rob with Wolfworks Portals, or Windchillin' Taco on Instagram. And we're here to introduce to you guys what we think is America's first Tacoma on portals. This thing is sweet. We've been out here for the past day and it's been awesome to see it. It's super capable with what it's got. We'll do a quick walk around of this rig, and what he's got to share with you guys on the portals is now you can get him in the States, which is amazing. We have the C4 bumper in the front. That seems to be your only front modification other than a grill, because this truck is a sport.
Yep.
It's not it's a color that we don't see very often.
Yeah, so this color is windshield pearl. It's only on the limited and the sport currently. I like the color more than anything else. I knew I was going to do a diff. I knew I was doing suspension, so
Might as well pick the color you want if
There
you're
you
not gonna.
there you go.
If you're gonna replace everything factory anyways.
Right.
And then yeah, the C4 is just the hybrid overland
Yeah.
bumper, or which,
Yes.
what? Yeah, that's, and then it's the mid bar. And do you still have
I did. I'm getting a light right now, so I don't know if there's some confusion going on. I might
Confusion with it,
plug it and try it
maybe?
again. But yeah,
so you've lost your cruise control for now?
potentially.
Okay, and then for tires, we have Super SST Pros, which in my opinion are the way to go. I have them on my personal truck over here. And then Method, what is the
Double standard. Those are 17 by 8.5.
Yep.
So zero offset, like 4 3/4 backs.
Yep. And you are intending to change to a custom backspace bead lock that
Yes.
will help break the tire in a little bit,
Exactly.
make your scrub radius a little better.
Help out with steering.
Yep. And these tires are 40 13.5, which is super awesome to see on these Tacomas. You don't see very many any bigger than 37s. 37s are even rare these days. And then you just have some Baja Designs ditch slides here.
Yep. Behind the bumper.
Yep. And then these sliders, are they C4?
Those are Westcott.
Westcott Designs?
Those are Westcott. They're clear coated. I just love the welding on it. I love that TIG, the heat effect in that. So
Yep.
I thought, that's too pretty to not keep showing
Yeah,
off
so
a bit.
you said clear powder coat.
Correct. Yep.
So they'll still be okay and hopefully not rust.
Yeah.
And then up top here, you just got a tent and the Westcott Designs rack. That's pretty cool. And then you went with the Backwoods Designs rear bumper, which is the same as I got on my truck.
Yep.
And this one is double swing out. And you're not sure how good it's gonna hold with the 40 on there, huh?
I already talked to Backwoods, and we both agree that I'm pushing the limits with that tire on there. So the tire's gonna have to go somewhere else. Maybe go put a jack holder there. Or, they have storage boxes out there, so they do the boxes for Owl also. So they have a nice box. They showed me pictures of and sent me some information on it.
Yeah. But it looks really good from driving behind you. The tire on there looks awesome.
It does
And the
look kinda
clearance
cool.
is amazing on the Backwoods. It's, I think, the best you can get with full shell bumper still.
Yes, and I like the aluminum doors. Anything to kind of keep some weight down.
Yeah.
Right?
Obviously, these truck gets really heavy really fast.
Yep.
Okay, now for suspension. In the back, you have Beavers.
Yep.
What stage are those?
I believe they're just stage 1, but they're the 2-inch.
Yep.
I don't like a rough ride, and you're not always loaded up, and sometimes you need that softer ride. So eventually, I'll do that airbags with disconnect.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
give me that ability to control that.
Yeah, if you have your tone or something. And then we have the DRT. Are these just a shackle
Correct. Yep.
hanger? I don't know if
Shackle
they're
hanger.
considered call it hanger. You sometimes get mad when I call them a hanger. It's like a flip, something like that.
Yeah, and the moose knuckle.
Yep. Moose knuckles.
ADS
everywhere.
shocks.
ADS shocks, are they 2.5?
Yes.
And in the back here, you have the reservoir attached to it.
Correct. Not my preference, but they work. Sometimes they move a little bit. The diff I redid to Revolution gears. I went 488, and then I did ARB airlockers, both front and rear.
And then you have a compressor mounted in the hood, under the hood.
Yep, have the double ARB in there.
Awesome. And then in the front, you can't really see it from this side. You also have 2.5. What does it have, a remote resi up here?
It's just the resi. I didn't get the knob adjuster on it. When I got them, I wanted to. There was that
you
supply
forget.
chain issue.
Oh, yeah,
during
when you
COVID,
got
so
'em.
it was like get what you can get. And
Yep.
so I can send them back in. I might go with a heavier spring weight and have them put the knobs on.
So what spring rate is this currently?
That's 600.
600 rate, and then these are Missoula.
Missoula.
Are these like
off-road,
the billet ones?
Yes. Yep.
Awesome.
I love them. They're really well engineered, and you can't really tell by looking at it, but they clearance a bunch of stuff so that pin doesn't get
jammed up in anything.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive. And then you're still on the same stock lower control arm, which is cool to see. You can do so much more to these trucks than you would think with most of the stock stuff.
Correct. Yeah, the stock lower control arm is one of those that's on my radar, but at the same time, I kind of want to see how things hold up over time.
Yep.
The steering is pretty much stock, other than the tie rod ends I put on. I want to know how that holds up over time. We know 40s are monsters to try and push around and control, so.
But you're still doing it. You're out here turning better than I do on 37. Yeah, so you'll just figure out when the steering rack blows and then upgrade.
There we go.
That's the way to do it. And then the real goodie here is the portals. And those add so much clearance in comparison to the regular trucks.
Yeah.
And that's what allows you to run the 40s at almost no lift in theory.
Well, you pick up 5 inches, 5.5 inches of lift, if you will, right? But you're maintaining your stock suspension geometry or whatever it was before, with the exception of pulling so much weight out on that out past the steering knuckle. So
awesome. So you can see where the CV axle it meets like at the top
comes
of the
in way high,
top of the tire and it drops that much. It's crazy.
Yeah. So basically, where your CV axle comes in should be the center of the wheel, but it's actually the center of the wheel is about 5.5 inches lower than that point. So yeah, it goes in the top drive gear, then it goes through 2 idler gears, and then out the drive gear. So you have, at any given time, you're touching 2 teeth on every gear at a time. So
you get a super good reduction in gearing. So
yes.
even though you're on 488s, you can still turn these 40s.
It's a
on highway
35%
speeds.
reduction at the box, right? So
Yep.
why do we regear the rear, or the front and rear, is to take that kind of that torturous leverage on the
Yeah,
drive
it's terrible. It just destroys your gears.
Yeah, it helps out with that. But when you do it at the wheel, it takes all that
Stress
wear and
away
tear
from
off
it.
the rest of it. Yeah.
So it's not on the diff anymore. It's on the gearbox, which is very strong in itself.
Right.
Well, and it's awesome because he's running 488s and 40s. Everybody in their right mind would normally go to 529s.
And the
but
funny
you don't
part,
need to.
yeah, the funny part is having done 48 first, which because I didn't intend to do portals.
Yep.
Doing 488s and then doing the portals with the 35% reduction, and then putting the 40s on, I'm 1 mile an hour reading 1 mile an hour slower than my GPS reads at like 60 miles an hour.
Oh.
So it's almost perfect.
Which is almost perfect because mine is way off. I think I'm like 10 mile an hour off. It's not even close. Yeah, that's awesome. And so these portals are from a company called
in Ukraine, called
Werewolf in the Ukraine. So this is mostly there. You see them tons of them over in Europe, and you don't really see them in America. So it's really cool that we're finally getting them over here, and we're gonna do a lot of testing to see how they work.
Yeah.
So they're pretty much like a 5-inch lift of clearance, and no actual lift, no body lift or nothing.
Yeah, I had a picture I think I posted. I've got 18.5 inches from the ground to the bottom of my diff, and that's giving me a 1/2 inch of clearance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really 19 to touch, right?
Yeah, which is amazing. It's unheard of. Mine's probably like 6 inches or something over there on my truck. It's
Right.
crazy.
What size tire do you have to run to get 19 inches of clearance?
Yeah.
You know? And with that, you put all that wear and tear on your drivetrain to get that. I mean, that's really why we do big tires a lot of the times, to get that clearance. Well,
Now you
small
have it.
tires.
Now you just need to upgrade stuff to make the suspension flex more, but you already got the tires. You're good to go.
Yep. And again, the list is a mile long.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
left to do. I've chopped the cab mount as much as I can. I've got to get that. I've got
Relocated.
the DRT cab mount relocation. I got to get that turned off and put on. I did the Dirt King double shear pivot on the top over here. I got to do that on this side, but I kind of wanted to see one side versus the other. So that side's got the alignment tab reinforcement. This side doesn't. So this
See
is the
where-
weak side. That's the strong side.
Yeah.
I want to see if there's any kind of.
You just want to learn a little bit and see
Sure.
what stuff breaks.
Well, being the distributor for the boxes, people have questions, and I don't have answers all the time. I'm trying to get those answers as quick as I can, and I want to know for myself what you really have to invest to run these successfully, right? So, I mean, plenty of people want to do modifications, but they don't know the true cost of doing that modification until they're neck
Until they're
deep in
already
it, right?
way in it.
I'd like to have that answer right up front. Say,
Yep.
okay, you're good to go with the stock steering as long as you're at 37-inch tire. You're good to do this, that, the other. But if you do this, these are the things that you have to
Things that
think
are
about, right?
gonna start breaking.
Sure.
And then you also have a little goodie under the hood that makes it a little bit easier to run these 40s.
Right. Yep.
These
The
Toyotas
Supercharger.
are known to be super slow, and he has the Maxon Supercharger.
Yep.
And you have an intake on it at all, or
Nope.
no?
Stop.
It's just-
That's one of the tricks about the Manson is you don't really want to. You can't really choke on that. So snorkel. They say there's one out there that can actually accommodate the CFM. I don't know that I really worry too much about that at this
well, with this clearance, you're not gonna be in the water, I'm sure.
point. Yeah, it's built
You're
in
gonna
snorkel.
be, you're gonna be up top. That's awesome. Okay, and then where can anybody who's interested in these portals look to come and get them?
So
Get these more out here, because there's only one so far. We need to see them on a lot of more trucks.
Right, and they make them for the Ford Bronco, Land Rover, Mercedes, Nissan, all the Toyota line, Land Cruiser, all those. But yeah, you want to go to our website, which is Wolfworks, WOLFWORX portals.com. You can go check them out at Werewolf 4x4 if you want to look at their website.
We got some videos on YouTube on that too, and I'll link them down below. And then also you can just give them a call, and you can, because every truck's a little bit different. You know, we all have different.
Yeah.
No truck is exactly the same. So
Sure, everybody's got a different situation, right? I mean, had I known about the portals and planned to do that from the get-go, I might not have done a lift. I may not have done gearing. You know, I might have gone a different path. And so everybody's kind of got on a different journey on this stuff. So any questions you guys have, I'm happy to answer those as best I can. The other part is, you know, when you off-road in Europe, they have kind of a different outlook on stuff. Different style, yeah. They love the high offset, like the high positive
pardon
offset.
my dog.
They like that high positive offset. They like those wheels really in tight. Here in America, we like that deep dish look, right? We like to see that deep wheel in there and push those tires out. So, you know, as I go through installing the kit and talk to them back and forth, why'd you do this? What about this? You know, it's interesting. You know, they got tools that we don't use. So whenever I put these kits together and whoever buys them, I'm going to have the cheat sheet. Okay, here's what I learned. Here's the tools that you'll need.
Here's what they use.
Here's a tool
what
that
use.
I'm going to supply a tool that was, I had to track it down. It was called an 8mm quick wrench. I've never even heard of the thing, right? But all the drain plugs on this are this 8mm square. So anything I can do to make this more simple and full of information.
A little
I'll try
quicker.
to do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. The truck's amazing. It's been awesome out here
Well,
wheeling
it was
with you
awesome.
for the
It was
past day.
We had a great time.
And yeah.